on Good Morning La La Land with Lisa Haysha, a true soul blazer and a legacy leader. Thank you so much for being here this morning.
Thank you.
And congratulations, your new show's premiering February 8th on Amazon. Tell us about it.
Yes. Oh, it's so exciting. I've traveled all over the world, and I love talking to people. I love talking to strangers and people who are doing interesting things because I always love to learn and grow. So I thought, why not create a show of people who have done extraordinary things?
And when you say travel all over the world, I mean, for decades, over 60 countries, you really saw the world.
I saw the world.
By air, by land, by soul.
Yes, by sea. Like that.
Thank you.
Yes, absolutely.
So Lisa, it talks about, you talk about how, I think a lot of us can relate to this, where we've all read the self-help books, we've gone to self-help seminars, and we're just tired. We're like, okay. And you've put this into a format where people can just consume it, they can engage via, your show on Amazon. What inspired you? Was it something that you saw for yourself? Like you were like, okay, I'm done with all these self-help books, and how do you start the show?
Well, it came about because I have so many amazing friends too. And when I'm talking to my friends, I'm like, oh, you're amazing. Just hearing their stories, like, two-time Grammy winners, people who climbed the highest summit.
But what was your journey to being your best self? What was that crossroads in your life for you?
Well, I grew up in a Middle Eastern household where I wasn't really allowed to go out, date, and all that kind of stuff. So I was starving for who is out there because I was told, all men are dangerous, they're going to hurt you, all women are this. And so it's just, you have to marry within our culture, that kind of thing, to be safe and protected. So I was so curious, who is out there? So it just...
What was that changing moment for you?
Well, I was out making a cake 3 houses down. This is kind of a long story. I'll try to shorten it.
Oh, it's done.
And we weren't really allowed to go out when the street lights were on. So my dad worked 12 hours a day, 7 days a week. And one day I was baking a cake after school. You get out at 3, so I was baking a cake, came home at 5:30, 3 houses down, in my school uniform. We went to Catholic schools, and my dad happened to be home. And he was furious. What are you doing? Is this what's going on? And I'm sending you to an orphanage. And I'm like, what? I'm sending you to an orphanage, I'm like, what did I do? I was just baking a cake. You're not allowed to be out. And what are you out in a skirt for? I'm like, it's my school uniform,
Wow.
So he was making me an example. I have 4 sisters, and he just wanted to keep us safe. He was afraid of, kidnappings, rapes, or anything like that. But it's a little extreme. So in that moment, I went to my room crying, oh, I want to leave. I want to run away from home. And, I thought, this is the person I trust more than anybody in the world, and he's saying, don't trust these people. So I'm like, I want to meet these people. So it sparked something in me, and I started hitchhiking, and I was like this total goody-goody, I really did everything right, but at that moment, and I only would get into cars with people who were like Hell's Angels, bad guys. If it was like you pulled over, I'd say, I'm just kidding.
Rebel with the cause.
Who are you? Why are you broke? Why do you have tattoos? Why do this is back in the early 80s.
And were you doing this all in secret?
All in secret. Nobody knew. And I had a girlfriend who was a little bit of a rebel, and she said, oh, I hitchhike all the time. That's what gave me the idea.
Wow.
And it just shifted that. And then a girlfriend of mine wanted to travel to Europe, after graduating college. And again, you're not allowed to really go out so much. And I was living with my dad. So even at 18, 19, 20, I was at home.
Secretly hitchhiking.
Yes, at home and in college. So when I graduated, I wanted to go to Europe with her. And my dad said, you can't go. You're not allowed to spend the night away from home. And then I wrote a note. I'm leaving. So when he came home, we got it. I said, I'll be back in 3 weeks. So sorry, have to do this. So I went to Europe, did my European vacation, and came back. And I'm like, I can't stay in San Diego anymore. Wow. I can't do this. So I moved to LA. And that's where racism comes in, and bigotry, and just homophobia, all that stuff, because this is all you know. All I knew was my little world. And I'm like, all these other opinions that make sense too, and all these people who have so much to offer and share. I stayed with Bedouins in the mountains of Petra. And I was scared. There was a husband and wife, but I went with this guy. I was going to go into Petra for a day. and everyone there was Muhammad. So I saw this guy there, and I said, Muhammad. And I was like, I don't know. I go, you don't remember me? And he's like, no. And like, we started laughing. I said, everyone I've met here is Muhammad. He goes, yeah, I'm Muhammad. And he's like, let me give you a tour. And I'm like, oh, it's right here. He goes, I'm going to give you the real tour. And he starts driving me up here with a girlfriend up a hill this way for about 45 minutes, and we got scared. And we're like, Petra's over there. And they're like looking like ants, all the tourists.
Oh, no.
And I thought I pushed my luck too far that time. But when we got there, his family had, they were baking food underground, potatoes, tomatoes, chicken, and had music playing and candles in the caves. And it was one of the most incredible days of my life. And the husband was there with his 5 wives, and there's 50 kids. It's like, oh my God, this is where they live. This is how they, but it just opened my eyes, and people are so petrified of these people. And it was an amazing experience, and everyone left. And then the guy who brought us up there, Muhammad, who we call Hubbly Bubbly because he smoked the hookah pipes all the time, he wouldn't let us go home. So we had to stay the night there, and all we had was a pareo and a tank top and flip-flops. He's like, no, you're going to stay here because you're going to see the real Petra, you know. And we stayed the night, and, you know, the morning, waking up where you could touch the sun, and it was just one of the most incredible experiences. But if you didn't take that chance, you would have never known. I'm not advocating getting in the cars with strangers, especially on travels, especially today. But it was when you're that open, I think when you're, again, talking confidence. When I went to Europe, the European vacation, I'm new, come hurt me, come steal from me. I don't know what I'm doing on my forehead, because 4 days in, I got all my stuff stolen away. 2 days later, I buy new stuff, had bags stolen. On an all-night train, both bags stolen. I mean, it was just wherever I went, guys coming around just patting you on the butt in Italy, and it's like, what is going on here? And it's because you're not used to it. You don't know who you are, and you carry that with you. And this time, after all my experiences, I had a solid foundation of, you know, you don't mess with me, or I'm coming with light, whatever it is, because everyone there, you know, oh, be scared of the Middle East, opened the doors, and I was with a friend, and it was just, come stay with us. You don't even have to pay. You're women. Eat here. Everyone was there to serve us, and I'm like, this is the Middle East.
It sounds like, you know, your series on Amazon, I'm definitely going to watch. It's going to be amazing, but I want to see the movie that you make about the blessing that your dad taught you, you know, that propelled you into going and really desiring to adventure the world.
He's from Iraq, so I went to find my roots in Iraq. That's how it really all started too. And I started going to the orphanages because that's where he wanted to send me. And he's from a town in Tel Kef. And I'm like, oh my God, this town just has a hospital, an orphanage, an ice cream truck, and a school, and a church, and then caves lined up.
What do you think you learned about yourself when you went there?
Well, I started asking the orphans, you know, who would you want to be in the world and why? And how do you feel? And they're like, why does everyone want to kill us? Why is everyone hurting us? My uncle lost his leg, this and that. And I realized none of them had voices. They couldn't speak their mind. And that's how I felt growing up, because it was like, think this way, be this way. If not, silent treatment or something would happen. And so I thought, I need to memorialize these kids' words. You know, they need a voice. So I said, I'm going to memorialize your words. I care about you. It's just the government. That's what's happening. So that set me out on a 5-year journey to 15 orphanages, where I interviewed children about, you know, is God fair? Why are we not? Who in the world would you want to be in? Why? You know, asking several questions to them.
It's such an interesting journey. I mean, because it's really a journey of love.
Yes.
And learning love.
Yes.
It's a journey of happiness and learning happiness and spreading love and happiness. And it's just phenomenal the ways in which a lot of the stereotypes are broken in this journey, right? I mean, simple things like you can love somebody, but that doesn't mean that you have to let them walk all over you.
Yes.
You can love people, but that doesn't necessarily mean that you can't have boundaries,
Yes.
for instance. And what would you say that, you know, you most learned about love? What is it about love that you would want people to know?
If you don't love yourself, you can't love someone else. So that's where soul blazing comes in. It really teaches you to go in. An exercise I give everyone, I think you guys actually touched on that, eye gazing. That's a huge thing in my business, to look yourself in the eyes, I mean this close, and really say, I love you, you know, and say your name, I love you, Lisa, I love you, Lisa, and really start feeling it. And it's, people say, oh, affirmations, you know, tutti frutti, who cares? They really don't work. They don't work because they're not grounded in something. So what I teach is anytime you have a negative thought, you know, God, I feel fat today. Oh, I hope I'm good on this show, or I hope this, or I hope this person likes me. Whatever it is, you you catch yourself and you have a pad and you write that down, the negative thought
The
down.
belief systems.
Everything, yes. And then you change it to a positive. Or I'm a narcissist, I'm controlling, I'm not smart enough, I'm not good enough, whatever it is, or that people call you.
Find your show, obviously Amazon. So,
Yes.
And it's called Soul Blazing.
Soul Blazing with Lisa Haysha.
Oh, wonderful. I'm
yes.
so excited. And you interview, it's a 15 episodes.
15, yes.
With a bunch of different experts in the
Yes.
field of things. Great. We're so excited. So anywhere else they can find you on your website,
Yes,
personal website?
lisahaysha.com and the Soul Blazing Institute if you're interested in any programs. And we're creating more programs for you to take online if you can't make it to LA or attend a workshop.
Wonderful.
Wow.
So
Yes.
thank you so much
Thank
for
you.
all
Thank
of
you.
your divine
Thank you
work.
so
So we really
much.
appreciate it. So
Thank you.
stay tuned, you guys.
welcome.
We will